Welcome to Empire Total War United Provinces, played on hard. The battles are on hard and the campaigns are on hard, and I think you're probably about to see why. These are the Spanish attacking Guatemala. This is a battle that we've been preparing for now for about 4 turns. It turns out to be about 2 years that in gaming time. This is the town, Guatemala, that I've put between me and the attacking Spanish. The attacking Spanish, I have to say, although they've got regulars, they're mainly native troops, sort of wild combat close-up troops. I've put, if you remember from my previous video where I set up the battle, I've put chevaux de frise in front of all my infantry. Then I've withdrawn my infantry back into a line, and here you can see his cavalry, some of his cavalry going in from our left-hand side there. Form my troops into square, ready to take the assault. Unfortunately, what he's done is he's seen the chevaux de frise, seen the squares, thought better of it, and retired. He's pulled back just far enough, and he's on the corner there as well of my square, which means that I'm not going to get the best shot against him. It looks like he's pulling them back a little bit further, which might help me a little. Oh no, he's bringing them all the way around. The trouble is, as you can see, his infantry's bearing down on us. So the last thing I want is for my infantry to be in square when his infantry appears. I want them to be in nice broad lines so we can get a good shot against them before they come in. Looking over to the right hand side just to see what's going on, it looks like his left side is going all the way round. At the moment he's going through the town, he's fighting my firelock armed citizenry, which are in the buildings. My musketeers are on skirmish order, they're the ones that I'm putting back again. They're the Indian musketeers, they have a longer range than normal musketeers, and the idea is by putting them out there as skirmishers, it's going to prevent his own musketeers from lining up in front of my regulars and firing at a greater distance from which I can hit him from. If you remember, he's got a longer range than I have, but my native musketeers that I've raised there, they equally have the same long range. I've done the usual line formation, and behind the lines I've got a column on each side, so that I can use those columns to reinforce the line wherever I need them. I tend to put those columns on melee attack only, so that they don't fire across my own men. I'm using now the horse that I've got. I've got very few. I've got mounted tribal auxiliaries that are really dragoon type cavalry. I'm charging those in along with my general to take out that cavalry that's gone all the way round. If you remember, he came up to my left flank, forced me to form square, moved all the way round the back, and would have threatened the rear of my army completely. So I'm using the only resources really I've got to deal with him. This is the problem when you don't have sufficient cover and you're fighting a big cavalry army. You can see he's now firing in from that side, and we're still in square. We need to get out of this square formation quickly, get into a line formation. I'm closing in a little, going a little bit closer because his musketry have a better range than mine, and what he's doing is firing from a greater distance. I need to close that distance quickly so that I can return fire. Yeah. Notice the chevaux de frise there. He's got lots and lots of cavalry swanning around this battlefield, he really has. So I do need to be aware of that on all occasions. He's brought some other cavalry around this side that I hadn't noticed. We're just getting into square as quickly as possible. You see one of my firelock armed infantry units now that's in one of those buildings is beginning to suffer, but they're doing their work. What they're doing is they're keeping a unit away from my main line while we have chance to take on the rest of his forces. So far we've been lucky. For some reason he hasn't made close contact. Perhaps he's using his combat troops against my firelock armed militia in the buildings, and he's coming forward with his musket men instead. So I've left those middle ones there that you can see in square. It's an awkward formation in this situation, but it was difficult for me when reforming to get them properly into line anyway. There didn't seem to be any room, it seemed a little bit congested, so I left them there. It's partly because the reinforcements off to the left that I keep in column, they've now formed into line to protect that left hand side, so it's sort of congested things a little. The cavalry off to the right seem to be defeated now, so we need to take those chaps out of square formation. We're still fighting at the back there against that cavalry with my general and my mounted auxiliary. Okay, here they come now, piling in. Not a lot we can do when it gets to this situation. What we're trying to do is to fire into any flanking regiments that he's got, to use our own troops to the best advantage, and absorb some of his melee attacks to the front. Very early on in the in this campaign, you will remember that some in fact I think it was this theatre actually, may well have been Mexico, but some Indians came charging all the way through my centre, virtually rolled up my entire line. Things have changed now. We've got bayonets, and we've got improved bayonets as well, so, and also my troops have got some experience as well, so there is a slight difference here, of course. Okay, you can still see us engaging there with musket fire and holding them in the centre. You see, trailing back, you can see lots of his troops through the town. That was part of my strategy, was to sort of bottleneck him in the town so he can't form decent lines or decide where he wants to attack. There's a temptation to go chasing after those Indians on the left, or if they are Indians, certainly in Spanish pay. Charging those into the side there now. Any resources that are left over, get them in. You see that column there? That's my reserve column from the right, which I'm bringing across. Consideration to putting them in square if I need to, at the back there, or piling them in there, which I'm going to do. Need to make sure the odds are in our favour there. Bit tricky for me to use these two regiments to the right and pile them into that melee to tip the balance, because there are still enemy forces in front of them. You'll notice now both my Phylock armed citizenry are flashing. They're both under attack in the town there. They'll be giving they will have given a fairly decent account of themselves, firing from the buildings, reducing some of his men when they finally get through to me. I keep looking around. There's cavalry everywhere on this. Moving to the left, right, trying to get to my rear, trying to get round, doing everything they can to undermine my position. So I do need to keep swanning around, looking around for where his cavalry might be. Here we go, engaging with the units on the right now. 2 against 1. Another quick look round, see what's going on in other parts of the field. I really can't tell who's getting the better of this. It looks like it's going in my favour. So there's a bit of a close-up action just to see what's going on. It does seem to be roughly in my favour there. I've still got these infantry at the back. There's reserve that I'm prepared to throw in, or of course put into square to defend my rear if he were to bring that cavalry round again and try and attack into the back of my forces while I'm already engaged in the front. That would break me completely. A couple of cavalry units charging into the back of there would totally break my line, so I do need to keep these troops available. And here he comes again, more cavalry. This time he hasn't been as canny. He's charging straight across my chevaux de frise there, as you can see. So he will lose pretty badly out of that. That's good news, because it means I can commit this reserve column now, feeling a little bit safer about the marauding cavalry. I've just noticed there were some other infantry off to the left, flanking infantry, so I may still need that reserve. Right, and the cavalry that we engaged with our general and also the mounted tribal auxiliary seem to have broken his cavalry unit at the back. There's just this one here to look out for on the left hand side. Bit of a balance now. Which way do we go? Do we commit to the main part of the line with the reserves, or do we stand off and wait for those flanking attackers? It looks like we're doing okay. He seems to be on the retreat now. The temptation would be to get after them. We haven't got much cavalry to mop up routing troops, so we're going to do the age-old 18th century thing. We're going to pull ourselves back into the line and invite him to come and attack us again on our terms. Let's not be tempted to go chasing after them, chaps. There he is, coming around that side again. He's certainly making the best of his flanking actions. This should be completed on the next video.